How do you feel about deportations?
Deportation, it's been part of like my life, part of the community I live in, part of my friends, I know a lot of friends who like don't have the problem but are somehow connected to it, family, other friends, where they come from, Um, me, I kind of don't. We all have our own stories, our own past, um, and like
So you say that deportations can't affect you? Is that what you're trying to say?
not now. It used to,
Uh-huh.
but it's a thought of, like back then I didn't think about it that much. But as you grow older, you see how who you really are and how who you are in the community can affect your own life, because of who you are, where you come from. And I really didn't think about it back then, but as I grew and I learned who I was and how it can affect me. And it did, but not anymore. We find ways to deal with it. We grow up, we try to find solve problems, and we found a temporary solution to the problem.
So how do you deal with it?
That's a good question. Um, hmm, how do I deal with it? Uh, Back then, I used to just say, it is pretty scary to think about it that hey, you might go back to a place you kind of don't remember. That place could have had problems. Like every place has its own problems. And so just the thought about it. My family's here. I could face it. I'm going back. But as I grew older, and you think about it, I have the knowledge, I have the courage, I have all these resources. So right now, it might sound like bad or anything, but I wouldn't be afraid to go back. Things happen for a reason. I'm not a child. I have the knowledge. I can go and like start over. It might be sad, it might be depressing, but I personally don't see nothing wrong. Just me, Obviously, seeing someone else go through that, not having the courage or resources or knowledge, could be a little bit depressing and sad. But for me, I feel like I'm strong enough to go and like maybe change something. Make a statement where I came from.
So would you feel differently if it was your parents that had to face that?
Yeah, my parents. Yeah, that will a little bit. Yeah, it's they're my parents. Without them, you know, they helped me. I'm trying to help them as well. But me personally, I'd rather be deported than them.
Hmm.
They, they're also strong enough. They've been here like just as long as I have and longer than me. And they deserve to be here more than I do. You know, so. But yeah, definitely, I feel like.
Why do you say they deserve to be here more than you?
Well, because they contributed to this community more than, just as much as any person has a citizen, to do their taxes. My mom has two jobs, she had three, my dad has four. I see nothing wrong with what they're doing. And there are people, of all different races. We all have, each race has their own kind of people, You have a good and bad, So it's nothing. I see nothing bad, but I see both sides to everything,
Hmm.
the good and the bad. So
Why did your parents decide to move here?
that's their story. I don't know that much about their story, but let's see. Uh, my mom was pregnant with me, uh, and my dad left, so he could make money and send the money back here to help my mom, everything, her family, our family. And later he came back, and we he had my brother, and then he a couple years later he left again, and later he came back for my mom, and their plan was to just uh, to just make more money. Like, our society, back times were different back then. Not here in America, but in Mexico. And so they just wanted to come here to like work and like find out, just get knowledge, get more money, like help a family, their family.
Why did your parents decide to bring you over to the United States?
Personally, I think that their plan was just to like, just make money, come move back, and start all over again, have a better life. But like I said, things were different back then. In 2006, um, let's see, I was 5 years old, almost about to turn 6, and um, I don't remember the date, but we were playing outside, and I was playing like in a sand lot, and last thing I remember was, gunshots and everything, and we see I thought they were soldiers, with black suits and helmets and guns. And I remember that our grandma, because I was living with my grandma, and she took us into this house, and we hid in the bathroom because we just called it a shooting, back then. And the next day, well, I don't remember how long we were there. If it was, I think it was all day because we honestly didn't know when to get out or when it was safe. But when we finally did, there were some bodies here and there, and so, like I said, my mom found out, like she found out, and the first thing she did was gather all the money she had saved, worked a little more, a lot more, and used that money to find a way to get us out of there. And,
So when that happened, your parents were over here in the United States
yeah,
and you were in Mexico.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with considering deportation, are you afraid of it?
Me personally, not. For other people, I do fear them because I understand, their life might be way more different than mine, They might not have the resources, the courage, They might not have anyone to like, to talk to about it or for the help they need.
With what you said about why your parents brought you over here, what would you be scared then if you were deported back to a country where the same thing is happening again?
Not like I said, I don't know. I just think differently. I wouldn't. I feel like, everything I've been through, like, it's nothing to me. I faced it before. I'll go back and deal with it. It's just who I am.
How have your views and thoughts changed since Trump has become president?
Um, I feel like everyone has seen it. Everyone sees what the world is. I I respect everyone's opinions. I respect our president's opinions and ideas. And then some might be bad, some might be good. I understand that he wants to like make America great. But what I see is that he's just doing it to one type of community, the Americans. And I personally think that that's a good thing, but at the same time, America is made up of, Mexicans, people from all over the world. And so, you might see someone and you might not know who they are. They might be American, and so that. But what has changed is that I've seen like people open up. They opened a whole new image to their body. Like a whole opinion. Like what he says to the Americans agree on him. They make the thought process is that hey, he's right. Something is wrong in the world. He just keeps throwing in these facts or whatever he's just saying, and it gets to them. It builds up. And they start thinking a different way and start taking in these ideas and what's the word I'm looking for? Displaying them, these ideas. And some are bad, like racism or violence, because that's what the president is portraying out there, the words he's using and the actions and everything he's doing, it affects all of us,
You're a DACA recipient.
Yes.
Yes. So, do you agree with him trying to take away DACA, or does it really benefit you?
It does. It really does. First of all, I don't get why DACA. Like, I get it. Like, I read the story, the news, and everything, and obviously I have knowledge about this. Um, but it does, DACA. I feel like people don't understand that it's really hard to get, like, extremely hard. Not just like financially, but also like who you are. It's like you have to have good grades, you have to be a good person, no bad records at all. Be in school, all this like, and you have to wait like 6 months, and it's a whole process. And I feel like no one's just gonna go through all that trouble, waste the money, just so you can like take. I took it as what's what I'm looking for. Take for granted. One, because it allowed me to work, and it's just 2 years. They give you the work permit, and it does, what was it? Yeah, so it does benefit. I got two of my jobs and three of my jobs actually. But yeah, it does. It gives you the opportunity to do more. Like with school and everything, college. When it expired a couple weeks ago. Uh, well, I knew it was gonna when he took the last year that
He was terminating DACA.
yeah, terminating. That got me thinking. About my future. Like, okay, on this date, I'm the risk of losing both of my jobs, my license, and all of this. It just really got me thinking, and then I thought about it. Like, I need this, or I need something. Like, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not saying others haven't. But like I said, no one will go through the trouble to just waste that money and take it as a bad thing, do bad things with it. It's really hard to get, and you can lose it really fast. One possession of drugs, or any crime that's deportable, you lose it. You lose it immediately. Anything like talking like you're kind of like limited to who you are in this world.
Mm-hmm. And even though you're an undocumented immigrant, you still pay taxes, right?
Yep.
You still provide to the community, right?
So do my parents. My parents.
What would you like to say to like all the undocumented immigrants in the U.S. that have been depressed and discouraged by all the hatred that's going on against them?
Yeah. All immigrants. You can be from Japan, Mexico, Honduras, anywhere in the world. You come here for a good life, a better life. And you have to understand that things happen for a reason, and these events, these problems you might encounter with, I feel like you should all see them, and not just to immigrants, because we're all immigrants. Our ancestors have some sort of immigrant stories in their lives, and that's the beauty of America. We're not all equal, we all have our own stories, but these events and these problems you guys are calling them, I feel like we should just see them as obstacles. And when you face an obstacle, you have options. What are you going to do about it? And there's a good and a bad. Nothing's good or bad. It's how you decide to make it a situation. How are you going to face it? And these are just obstacles and are an opportunity for us to learn. To make us do or to bring out the good of us. What are you made of? What are you going to do to fix this problem? Like, what are you going to do? These are obstacles to help us learn, to involve us, to make us grow, So I feel like we should all see that way. And I feel like if we do that, then we'll accomplish more. And it's just what it is. Whatever.
Okay. Do you think Westfield should care about this, about deportations going on around their community and the people that are being taken?
Yeah, I feel like Westfield should care, because like a lot of people a lot of immigrants contribute to their society. Like some of them pay taxes. Some of them have jobs. That benefit Westfield. Like every district, every state should care about their citizens. Their people who live there and who contribute in their society.
Mhm.
I'm guessing a lot of people are just watching this, and you guys might have not known about my story or my back history. You guys might have just assumed it, because of who I am, or I might have told some people here and there. But I feel like we should all just respect each other. No one really understands someone's. No one can fit in someone else's shoes, understand their life and problems because you know, we're all different. And so, yeah, we should just like not assume people's lives, and we should all be grateful of our own stories. Immigrants, citizens, everyone from everywhere around the world. It's what makes us special.
Mhm.
It's what brings us together at the end of the day. These differences we all have. We all have our part in our world, and just because you come from a different place, a different country, around the world or around the ocean, it doesn't make you any different, you know. It's just, it's what you were made for, you were made for a reason. People come here for a reason. We all have something to accomplish in this world. I believe that.